Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to look at a movie called Radio Flash. I really don't remember how I became aware of this movie, but after I watched it, I knew I just needed to talk about it. So let's look at the box art of this movie. What movie does this instantly bring to your mind? Exactly, Ready Player One. And look at this alternate DVD cover I found. Radio Flash definitely ripped off this cover. I'm sure they didn't do this to confuse people into accidentally buying this shit movie. I mean, why would they put a VR headset on the cover of the DVD unless it played a pivotal role in the film, right? Maybe I'm just being cynical. Before I get into the movie, I want to read the back of the box. The way they sell this movie is insane. They make it seem so interesting and nail-biting, but it's really just a boring mess. Teenager Reese has a love for virtual reality role-playing and a knack for beating even the toughest survival games. Why the hell would this be mentioned? After you see the movie, you will be just as baffled as I am. This is like the back of the box of Psycho being like, join Patrick Bateman, who loves to play cards and enjoys collecting pogs. Like it has no bearing on the whole movie or the larger story. A perilous trek through a world gone mad, where every encounter with a stranger could be their last. They run into one person who ends up screwing them over, and then like the family at the end, but they meet a very helpful farmer, they see a ton of people on a bridge, and they aren't like attacked or anything. This is just meaningless. This is my favorite part. Propelled by the ingenuity and resilience of its young heroine, Radio Flash is a harrowingly unpredictable apocalyptic thriller that speaks to our precarious present. And this part is just a joke. This heroine is a hollow vessel with no personality, and she literally just lets people guide her, and she rarely makes any decisions on her own. Also, I love how they call this an apocalyptic thriller. The first 10 minutes are an apocalyptic thriller, and then it literally drops the whole bullshit to turn into some redneck kidnapping movie. This thing was painful to get through. So we see our main character, Reese, played by Brighton Sharbino, and she seems to be stuck in some kind of phone booth with a toilet on the ceiling, and then we see the phone start like spitting water out. Now I'm going to let some of this scene play out so you can kind of get a feel for it. And we get the reveal. Oh great, that was a VR game. I'm sure this will tie right back into the plot and this won't just be like a massive misdirection at all. This is me like 30 minutes into the movie. So we see Reese go home. Damn it, even in the future people play Fortnite. Fuck. So she's at home and she has some dinner with her dad, Chris, played by Dominic Monaghan. And this guy is normally a good actor, so I'm not sure what's going on in this movie. But let's see, a really famous actor in a crappy movie. Who wants to place a bet on when he dies? I bet about halfway through.
Hey, Moonbrine's mom loved those.
Hey, isn't that the food my dead mom liked? Oh, yes it is, honey. Your mother loved this stuff. You know, before she died.
How's the game coming?
Slow. Zed's trying to help me, but I just feel like programming languages are so antiquated.
Ugh, this is so pretentious. Does she say this so we know she thinks outside the box? I mean, we already know that from the opening scene where she flushed the toilet. Wow, she's a hero.
Who's that?
So obviously we see the lights flickering here, and this is clearly foreshadowing an apocalypse instead of a more common, power outage. I mean, where I'm from, I have a power outage like once or twice a month.
You okay?
Are you okay, sweetie? Did the power going out assault you? Here, show me on the doll.
Looks like the whole neighborhood's out.
So the power goes out, her computer caught on fire, and now they need to light a lantern.
It's an adventure. And a much-needed break from this.
It's not about that. It's the fact that I can't get answers.
We can't get answers. The power has literally been out for 6 minutes, and they are already suspicious of what happened. When my power goes out, I don't think, oh my god, am I the last person alive? Should I go loot my neighbor's house? I usually wait until the second hour before I ransack my neighbor's house to look for packs of gushers.
To this blackout, whatever it is. I think I saw some books in Grandpa's shop. Something about power walls, power lines.
Wait, the girl that a few scenes ago told us how programming language is so antiquated, now she doesn't even know what the fuck a power line is?
Aww, your mom looks so young.
Aw, Mom looks so alive in this video, doesn't she? Dad, look at her breathing. God, she really loved air. So Reese wakes up in the middle of the night and she decides she's going to start looking for answers for some reason. And wouldn't you know it, the first book she pulls off the shelf is exactly what's happening. Man, her grandpa must be a magician. Now what the fuck is a radio flash?
Radio flash.
Oh, thank you.
The phenomena known more widely throughout the world as electromagnetic pulse, or EMP. The term originated in the early 1950s, primarily associated with the click typically heard on radio receivers when a nuclear bomb was detonated.
Hey, can we get this girl a fucking Oscar over here? Jesus Christ! So after we hear from little Merriam-Webster over here, she keeps searching the shed, and even though it's her shed, I don't know why she's searching it. She should know what's in there. She uncovers this radio. She tries to power this thing on, she flips the switch, and it's not working.
Okay, see the solution, not the problem.
So she looks at how this radio has no power and says this little catchphrase, as if then she realizes, oh, now that I think about the solution and not the problem, I realize this thing needs power. Did she not realize it needed power until she recited her grandpa's incantation? See, this is why we needed to open on her flushing a toilet to solve a problem. If we didn't see that opening scene, we might be confused now. Like, whoa, how did this girl know something needs power to work? So she gets the radio working and calls her grandfather, Frank, played by Will Patton.
Yeah, looks like the entire western grid took a hit. I hate to put forward the worst case scenario here, but evidence seems to suggest electromagnetic pulse.
You're just now figuring that out.
So this is the magic grandfather. Now we know he's super smart, because he already knew about the EMP. But those people on the radio, they just figured out it was an EMP. So Grandpa is a genius. But how would he know it's an EMP? If he didn't see it go off, like how would he have any idea of what it could be? It could have happened like miles away, and unless he saw it, he would have no idea. Unless he is the one who detonated it. Maybe he wanted to like plunge the world into a new ice age so he could rise up and take power.
You got a blackout down there, right?
Hold on, now Grandpa's asking if there's a blackout by Reese? He just said he knew it was an EMP, and now he doesn't know the effects of said EMP? Grandpa, do not do this to me. I thought you were the super spy that was going to save us all.
Is it a radio flash?
It's been a long time since I've heard that term, but yes, Reese, that's exactly what this is. How did you know that?
I randomly pulled a few of the books you gave me off the shelf, and I figured it was either Radio Flash or Green Eggs and Ham, and I haven't noticed any green ham. Yet. Didn't this guy just ask Reese if there was a blackout by her? Does he know, or does he not know what's going on?
I'm gonna need you to get up here to me, both of you.
Grandpa tells Reese about how he foresaw this whole thing happening and how he hid a map with the safe route marked on it and also a shortwave radio.
Right here. Third drawer down. Boundary County map with a highlighted route right there on the comm bay in front of you. Is it there?
Short range, only 5 miles tops.
So they get off the radio, and this next part kind of confuses me. So he tries to put the keys in the doors, and it looks like they work, but then at the end of this, he leaves money on the counter. So does he own this? And if he does, why is he paying himself? So the grandpa leaves money, so we know he's a nice guy. But he also writes a note saying that money is worthless. So why wouldn't he leave like food or something else? I guess grandpa is a dickhead. Dad, wake up, it's the apocalypse. Can we have pancakes? So we cut back to Chris and Reese is telling her father how he needs to call grandfather, and he's like, oh, you're overreacting, let's just go have some coffee.
You don't have to believe Grandpa. It's all right here.
Radio flash.
They have said the name of the movie and flashed the book a few times. We get it, it's a radio flash. I don't get why them having a book about a possible reason is somehow a guarantee that this is what happened.
We're not just gonna throw common sense out because he thinks the world's gonna end.
And what if it is?
Then we're all in the same boat.
Yeah, a boat that's sinking.
It's gonna be a long day.
Boy, it's gonna be a long day. No one has power, people are gonna die, and I can't have my morning coffee. This is a real case of the Mondays. So her dad doesn't really think anything is wrong until for some reason he can't have coffee, and now all of a sudden he is ready to jump on board after he talks to grandfather in a few minutes. So Chris and grandpa talk. I guess they don't have a great relationship. I guess the dad thinks the grandpa is crazy, and the grandfather thinks the dad is a sissy who couldn't take care of his daughter. I think, who cares? All you need to know is they don't get along too well. But they talk and decide they're going to go stay with him for a while. Like 2 scenes ago, Chris says he's not going to throw out all common sense just because grandfather says so. But now, after like a 3-minute conversation, he's ready to like throw all common sense to the wind and just rush off to grandfather's house. Who knows?
All right, Frank. It's just the two of us. What's going on?
It's an EMP, Chris.
It's devastating. It's wiped us out. Wiped out the entire western United States.
So we finally find out what is going on. He says the entire western United States is wiped out. So that begs the question, isn't there an entire fucking East Coast? Like, did the East Coast just put up a wall to keep out the other people on the West Coast? Don't you think the other 25 states would pitch in and help before, we all go like looting and killing each other over supplies? This is like a huge plot hole in my eyes. Unless maybe I missed the reason the other states don't help. Also, the rest of the world still exists. Are they just gonna like let us starve to death? Our allies aren't gonna help us or anything like that? This is just like an impossibly dumb situation. If they wanted to do this, why not say an EMP wiped out all the US? Then it would be more feasible.
Chris.
Yeah, I'm here. What do we do?
So now Chris is on board with the guy he said was crazy like 3 scenes ago.
All right, everyone just calm down. All right, take a breath.
Now, if everyone will just line up according to your age, we'll start eating the children first. Actually, we'll start with the elderly.
And if those main transformers are out, it's gonna be 2 years.
2 fucking years? We still have half the United States, right? And assuming the rest of the world is fine, wouldn't our allies be running to our defense? This just wouldn't happen unless our allies got hit at the same time, but they never mention this.
And I'm sure that there's contingency plans for this sort of thing, right, officer?
The only plan you gotta be concerned with is how much food, fuel, and water you got. Now give it another 24 hours before the shit hits the fan.
24 hours before the shit hits the fan? They have shown like at max 1 night passed since the power went out. And already people are like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Oh, I'm gonna steal all your shit. Like, dude, give it like a few days.
Whoa. Everything shut down.
Again, without any like passage of time, this just feels so unearned. Like 1 night passes and gas stations are out. People are roaming the streets with their kids in shopping carts. Like, this just makes no sense.
You seem a little worked up about this.
Gee golly, it seems like people are really worked up about this whole EMP killed the entire Western power grid thing. Jeez. Just a reminder, this movie started with Reese swimming in a phone booth full of water with a toilet on the ceiling. What the fuck was the point of that scene? They stop by a store for supplies, but they get overwhelmed, so then they hop back on the road and they come to a bridge that's blocked off. This bridge scene is like a very good example of how they just dropped the ball in this movie. They kind of shoot it like it's going to be one thing, and then they just completely fuck it up, and it's just a pointless scene added to this movie full of pointless scenes.
Come on. Come on.
Just be careful. Hey.
I'm gonna drive. You're so gushy.
It's all right. All right.
Are you coming with me? Yeah, come on, I'll meet you.
Listen to the scary music cue when you see this old man with a beard. This is the first time we see him, and we will see him again, but the first time I saw him, I was so confused on why the music changed. It's such a dumb aspect of the movie, and it literally adds nothing to it, and I really think people had 3 different movies, and it was just mashed together, and we have big chunks of the movie that feel like they're part of some other movie, and I'll explain all this when it comes back up into the movie later.
Honey?
Taking my truck. Get out of the way. This is happening.
Where is it? Hey. How's she doing? Got a pulse?
Okay, so how this scene is shot. You hear all the noise, all the commotion, you hear like the strings rising as they walk closer toward this crash. What I thought was going to happen is I thought those bikers were going to like try to steal Reese and Chris was gonna have to like try to fight them off, because in a lot of these movies they always like play up how bad guys are like rapists also, but nothing happens. Like, he walks up to this person, they get freaked out, and then run back to their car and then just continue on. Like, the scene just makes no sense at all. I don't know why it's in the movie. This is supposed to be the apocalypse, and this truck driver is the first person to think of just like moving that one car blocking the way. I mean, there is one person laying on the ground injured. Like, are we really going to hold up the entire town from getting somewhere safe for one person? No way. So again, this scene just makes no sense, and I don't know why it's in the movie. Alright, so they continue on their way to grandfather's house. They're able to cross the bridge.
Wait, what mile marker did you see last?
126, I think.
I think we missed it.
Missed what?
Turnoff, like 5 miles back.
Oh, what?
Oh no, we missed it? Here, let me look over at your map and take my eyes off the road. I'm sure we'll be fine. Man, that stopped RV really came out of nowhere. And of course, he swerves out of the way instead of, hitting the brakes. And then he just drives into the woods and hits a tree. Like, why wouldn't you just use your brakes? Why would you swerve with your foot on the fucking gas? So here we are in a dream sequence. We're in the hospital when Reese's mother died, because of course there's dream sequences in this movie. So we see this old man again, and it still doesn't make sense. It becomes a little more clear when we see him like 1 or 2 more times. It still is stupid and could have been cut from the movie.
Reese. Reese. Hey, you okay, sweetie? It's Dad. I'm here. Honey. It's okay.
Honey, wake up. Oh, I'm glad you're okay. It's me, your dad. Your mom's still dead.
Don't ever do that to me. It's good. Hey, sweetie.
Honey, don't ever do that to me again. Don't you dare lose consciousness when I swerve off the road and hit a tree, okay? Or you're grounded.
You're bleeding.
Where? Oh, no, that's nothing. Just a little bashed up on my left side is all.
So I kind of assumed this would happen earlier. This is kind of how like a bigger name celebrity could actually be a downfall in your movie. Because when you see them in a low budget movie like this, you kind of assume they're not going to survive all the way through. And if you hear him, he says his left side is bashed up. So I'm assuming that his left side is injured very badly, and he's going to hide it from his daughter until it's, the last minute. So in an earlier scene, the grandfather tells Reese that in one of the drawers there's a map with a safe route marked on it. So the grandfather knows the route they're going to be taking. So that's how the grandfather is able to track them down throughout the movie. At first watch, I must have missed that, and I just didn't understand how this dude kept showing up, like right where they were. But I mean, I guess he knew where they were going to be. But through dialogue, we learned that they're about 15 miles away from where they should be. From their house to the grandfather's house, it's only 5 miles, and they said they're 20 miles away from the destination, so 15 miles outside of where they should be.
I don't know about you. I had just about enough of the highway. You want to take our chances with the river?
So they decide that going by the river will actually shave 5 miles off their trip, so they set out for the river path.
Dad, the bridge. What are you doing?
Dad, what are you doing? Are you dying? You're just like Mom. No, honey, I'm not dying. I was looking at how uninjured my left side is. Wow, look at that cool bridge.
Coming.
I'm so glad he's alive. So they stop for some water.
Looks like a filter.
Works?
Dad, are you okay?
No, stop. I'm okay. I'm okay.
Let me look. I have to stop.
Stop.
Let me.
No, sweetie, I have to die, like your mother did. I need you to be an orphan.
Honey, no. No. Some things don't have an answer.
Some things don't have an answer. I mean, except for this, right? You didn't get cancer from your car accident 30 minutes ago, right? So I guess this kind of has an answer.
Look, sweetie, you were born in a different time than I was. Anything you want to know at the end of your fingertips. Sometimes things just don't make sense.
What the fuck is he talking about? Like, just tell her you're hurt and you're gonna die. Don't patronize her. It's not like if you hide your injury from her, she won't be affected if you die. Also, this whole "this doesn't make sense" thing, this makes the most sense. You just got in a car accident 30 minutes ago.
I don't know why your mom was taken from us the way she was. But what I do know is that she would be pissed off if she thought we wasted 1 second of this life, 1 moment. It's about this. It's about the forest. Trees. The moss. It's about us. It's about you and me together.
It's about the trees, the moss. It's about us, you and me, together. Well, not you and me, because I'm gonna die, but it's about you being alone, in the woods. Good luck, sweetie. I called it. This is such a huge cliche. People don't hide life-threatening injuries from their loved ones, especially if it's your daughter and she's relying on you to help her stay alive. Like, what benefit does anybody have from him hiding this until now? Maybe they could have got help earlier.
Oh, no, sweetie. It's okay. It's okay. Daddy's okay.
Here, Daddy, let me rub dirt in your wound. Is your side feeling better? This bitch is crazy.
What?
Give me.
Dad?
Dad, do you need more moss?
No, I'm not gonna leave you, Dad. Stop. Dad?
Dad? So her dad collapses, she sets off running, and of course in, 4 minutes she finds some help.
Help! Help!
So Dr. Farmer fixes her dad up as good as new. Except for that whole, internal bleeding thing.
His body's just trying to regain some of what it lost.
You mean blood? Because he mainly lost blood. Internally. What the fuck is up with this girl's acting? Her father collapsed, is possibly dying, and she's not even shedding a tear. She's just staring blankly ahead. Like, she never emotes in this movie at all. I think she cried 1 time. Farmer John tries to spill his guts to the first person he's probably seen in a few years, and she just kind of blows him off and says, "Oh, I'm going to get some water." Like, this guy just kind of saved your dad, and you're just kind of blowing him off, but whatever. Okay, so this old dude is like a vision she has when someone around her is about to die or something. This is so strange and is never explained. It also is pointless. It's not like she has a vision and then she has enough time to try to help or change the future. Oh gee, a superpower that would let you know 10 seconds before someone dies. Hey little girl, your dad's about to die. Bye!
He just stopped breathing.
And this old guy isn't even giving him CPR or anything. He's just like, "Oh, he just stopped breathing. Well, I guess you can be my wife now. How about you go put on one of her nighties? Thank you." Again, this girl's father just died and she can't even come up with tears. Her face is completely dry. Like, this is terrible. So Mr. Farmer buries her dad and then she goes to visit the grave and then they set off, I guess, toward Grandpa's house. What's a 7-letter word for half man, half horse? Damn it! Of course, their grandfather finds the Jeep. I mean, they are 15 miles outside of where they should be, but of course this dude just stumbles right upon the Jeep.
I never have been able to figure out there were smart telephones. We never dreamed of such things when we was kids.
Cool story, new dad. Could you just shut up and drive me to my grandfather's? Of course there's blood on the couch, even though his left arm was the one that was bleeding and it was wrapped up, but maybe he coughed it up out of his lungs. So Mr. Ace Detective here found out exactly where they went, and now he heads off in search of Reese.
What's this fella up to? Reese, you better get in the bag just to be safe.
This part is just so dumb. This guy obviously knows that people are dangerous because he tells Reese to get into the back, but then still pulls over for this guy. This is just so dumb. So Reese sees that someone's gonna die, and she just sits there and lets it happen. What a hero. Why the fuck would this guy stop? I wouldn't stop during normal times, and this guy stops when he has a young girl in the car and the world's going crazy. You could have just stepped on the gas and the guy would have moved out of the way, but of course, we need a character to take Reese to where she needs to be. This whole movie is just people guiding Reese to where she needs to be. She is literally just an empty vessel.
I asked you nicely, now get out of the truck.
My apologies, I didn't realize you asked nicely. And he's dead. Surprise. Murderer's Road. Huh, what a weird street name. So they run out of gas and they pull up to the first house that looks friendly and welcoming. So this guy tries to siphon some gas, but it doesn't go too well for him. And why the fuck was the farmer killed off only for this dude to get killed off 3 minutes later? Why didn't they just have the farmer run out of gas and then have the farmer killed? Because then it would have implied that these people are even crazier because they killed the nice old man, but now they end up killing a shitty guy who just killed the farmer. I feel like this is the director's brother-in-law, and his wife was like, please, just give him a job. This is the last time, I promise. So the director was like, fine, I'll put him in the movie, and I'll give him 3 lines so he can get SAG benefits, but this is the last time. So after 2 minutes of screen time, this guy gets killed, and then for some reason, this guy knows there was another person in the back of the van. I don't know how, but then he gives chase. Now this is where the movie takes another turn. I swear, this was 3 separate movies. It opened with some VR futuristic stuff, then it was like in a post-apocalyptic movie, and now it turns into like a redneck kidnapping movie. So I guess this kid was just sitting up in this tree all day, and Reese just happened to run right up to the exact tree. Yeah, this is not a coincidence at all. Why would she close her eyes right here? Like, if somebody came up from behind me and wrapped something around me, I wouldn't just close my eyes and hope for the best.
Oh, look at her eyes.
So this is Ma, played by Finiola Flanagan, and I hate the last part of this movie. This is where we meet her children, and we spend the rest of the movie here. This last part feels like it's not even connected to the first part, and definitely not like the middle part. This is why I feel like this is just 3 separate movies all slammed together.
Who are you?
Yeah, this is definitely the first question I would ask, as opposed to like, why the fuck did you kidnap me? Let me go.
Take a seat, young lady.
Who the hell would listen to this lady? This girl heard them shoot the guy who was driving. So why wouldn't she take something sharp, grab the old woman by the neck, threaten to kill her if they don't let her go? But no, she just complies. I swear, this girl makes no meaningful choice this whole movie. She just listens to what other people tell her to do. What happened to that strong woman who flushed the toilet in the first very important scene? On a side note, my parents had the exact same rocking chair when I was younger. They obviously didn't have the hand cranks, but like the base of it was identical.
I'm not willing to forgive in your trespass the insult to us by denying our hospitality.
I hate this stupid trope in movies. The, you can't turn down our hospitality bullshit. Like, this girl knows they killed someone a few minutes ago, and she just obeys, like all of a sudden they're gonna sit down, have a nice meal, and then let her go. Like, why isn't she fighting? I react worse than this when I sit through the drive-thru for 30 minutes, and then I open my burger to find out they put pickles on my burger when I said no pickles. So Grandpa here finds the dead farmer in the middle of the road and immediately knows it has to do with Reese. Because of course it does. Nothing goes on in this world that doesn't revolve around Reese.
You just wait till them wolves smell you. You'll be dead so fast, you won't hear your ghost screaming.
Wait, if you die slow enough, can you hear your ghost scream? That's pretty fucked up.
My son saved your life.
And kidnapped me. Are we going to talk about the kidnapping? No? Okay. So we have Ma here, Billy, which is her son, and then Quinn, which is Billy's son. And Quinn acts like a dog, kind of, for some reason. So Ma lets Reese know there's a cot in the attic, and that's where she'll be spending the night. So obviously she sneaks out, she wakes up Ma, Ma yells for Billy, and then they chase her down and catch her.
Go get her, boy.
So this is the dog boy, Quinn. His father tells him to go get Reese, but he disobeys him. I wonder if this will come back around later in the plot and be super important.
Just get away from me! Get away!
This is like the first time she does anything other than just stare blankly ahead. So for some reason they hunt her down, catch her, and then like tie her up hanging from a tree for some reason. I don't know why they would just put her in the shed that they put her in like 15 minutes anyway, so it's just dumb. So our hero wakes up and then she has like a mini fight with the bear. I don't even know why this is here. How does Reese get out of this dire situation? Like every other situation, someone else solves it for her. This little scene right here is the epitome of what this movie is. Her staring blankly ahead while someone else solves her problems for her. So Billy cuts Reese down and drags her into a shed that he didn't put her in before for some reason. So I actually sped this scene up. This girl just sits here for it seems like days, and the only time she moves is when Quinn comes, but she doesn't even try to get out. So Ma has Billy go and get the girl. Now, this is where Reese actually wakes up and does something for herself. Reese jumps Billy when he comes to get her, and then she actually escapes. I'm just kidding. She sits there and does fucking nothing. What the hell was the point of the power going out? It's barely touched on at all in the movie. This could have easily been a story about a girl whose dad dies in a car accident and she goes on a trip to see her last living relative. I feel like they made it a post-apocalyptic story so it would sell better. So they could write a little blurb on the box.
Now, ain't this relaxing? While the world beyond them trees is burning.
Oh right, this is an apocalypse movie. I forgot the world ended. It's almost as if that didn't fucking matter in the slightest. Thanks for reminding me, Ma. 80% of this movie is just people talking at this girl as she stares ahead blankly.
Minute I saw you, I knew you belonged here. Oh, no, it ain't no coincidence that a lovely young lady like yourself stumbles onto our lonesome path. You have no idea how hard it is. Watching those boys grow up with no companion except a crippled old woman.
Ma lays out the reason why she wants her to stay, to be a companion to her kids. One of them, or maybe even both of them.
Whether we're the type that takes or the type that gives.
So Ma lays out the choices. Either she joins them and they live happily ever after, or they tie her up and just take what they want from her. It's pretty fucked up. Wow, finally, an hour and 20 minutes into the movie and we kinda have a plot, maybe? I thought the plot was trying to survive without power, but now it's trying to survive while being kidnapped. Maybe we'll get another different plot for the last few minutes.
Hmm?
I'd rather be back in the cellar.
Holy shit, Reese has a pulse. I can't believe she actually chose something on her own and had a backbone. It only took like the whole runtime of the movie.
Billy!
I don't know why she didn't just take the broken glass and like cut the mother's throat, or at least hold it up to her throat and threaten to if they didn't let her go. Do something. Holy shit, they're going to put you back into a shed and make you their slave. Do something. So Reese goes back and pouts in the shed until Quinn brings her an apple. And apparently her backpack too. So she opens up her backpack and pulls out the radio to ask her grandfather for help. Man, this girl cannot do anything on her own. So after she realizes that her grandfather's not going to come and save her, she decides to pull her iPad out and sit there and look at pictures. Holy shit, do they want me to hate this person? Who in their right mind would fucking sit there and look at pictures when they are possibly going to be forced to be the bride to a bunch of backwoods people? Only this girl. Why doesn't she like smash the iPad screen and use the glass to free her hands from the binding? This girl's terrible. tears? This girl can cry? Why has she been holding back this whole movie? So after being passive the entire movie, she finally realizes, hey, I can do things myself. And she finally cuts the rope on the sharp objects that have been in the shed the entire time. After she cuts this rope, she looks at her hands like she just solved some mind-bending problem. Like, oh my god, a sharp object cutting rope? Who would have thunk it? So Reese finally tries to escape and she tries to pick the lock.
One of these days, that boy's gonna hit you back.
What an odd thing to say. She says this literal minutes before Quinn actually disobeys his father and tries to help Reese. So in the middle of the lockpicking, of course, someone comes to save our hero, because fuck writing a strong female character, we just need her to be carried around the plot by different men for this movie to play with our target demo. I guess the young adult fans really love helpless women. So we find out that Pa has the key, so Quinn can't help her go get the key.
That can't be the only way.
So right here, an hour and 23 minutes into the movie, we finally see our main character use her super escape room skills that she displayed in the opening. She looks at an apple, sees ants on it, looks at the roof, and says, "Carpenter ants." Like she had to see the ants eating an apple to realize that old wood would be fragile and easier to break. I'm so glad for the opening scene. I mean, how else would we know that she knows that wood breaks down over time and becomes weaker? If Quinn never brought her the apple, I'm sure she would have just died in the shed, because how else would she know that visibly deteriorating wood is deteriorating? She asks Quinn to go get her some rope, and Quinn immediately agrees. I mean, they must have really bonded over the 3 scenes they shared together.
Gotta go fast. Grab the rope.
They escape the shed, and then they both start running. Now, when they start running, it's night out, and now we see them later at the stream, and it's day out. So we can assume they were running for like approximately 30 to 45 minutes. So Bill opens the shed and sees that these two are gone. Now the shed is not large at all, but Bill decides to walk slowly up to the rope and touch it, as if that will let him like see into the future and know exactly where she'll be heading. Why not just open the door, see she isn't there, and then go start looking for her? Again, the shed is small. There aren't any hiding places for her. Maybe he was more upset that Quinn used his good rope than he was that Quinn helped their sex prisoner escape. He was saving that rope for a special occasion, damn it!
Rest here a minute.
Quinn and Reese are stopped, because it's not like they're running from their dad or anything. But of course, Daddy's hot on their trail, even though he doesn't know where they went, and they got at least a 30-minute head start on dear old Dad. Hold on, this wolf child got a fucking plate for like 10 berries? Talk about wasting time. Do you really need to stop to eat like 10 berries? Shove them shits into your face hole and keep running, you fuck.
It's okay, I just want to see.
I just want to see if you're attractive under all that hair.
I think we'll make it. What is it?
I can't go with you.
I can't go with you. I need to stay here and get beaten by my dad. Plus, I'm half wolf, so I can't adapt to normal life like you folk. Of course, Papa Billy is right behind them, since they've been sitting in one spot for like 20 minutes talking about going somewhere, eating berries. Maybe instead of talking about it, get up and run. I am so confused with this gunshot. It shows Reese and Quinn crossing a log, falling down a slope, and then walking through a river. The dad is right behind them, also in the river. We never see Reese and Quinn climb out of the river, and then we see Billy aim his weapon up and shoots into the air. Was this a shot at them? Was he doing it to scare them? I still don't know the answer to this. Maybe it's just bad editing? Or bad movie? Definitely bad movie. And then like 30 seconds later, we see them all in the same river. They go underwater and hold their breath while Billy walks past them. So why was that gunshot? So Reese and Quinn run out of the river. Billy is not far behind, and they end up on this little ridge where Billy and Quinn look like they're about to have a battle. This flying jump thing looks so weak and dumb, and of course it knocks his dad right off his feet and he drops the gun. So our hero stares at the barrel of the gun right in front of her instead of grabbing it, because, you know, guns are icky. This girl, again, has a golden opportunity to grab this gun while Billy has his back turned to her and blow this dude's head off. But of course, she doesn't. She literally has like a good 30 seconds where she just has a confused look on her face. This kid saved your life, and you are just going to let him get killed by his father? I thought you were the girl who flushed the toilet in the opening. Where did that brave girl go? This girl starts to climb up, and you think it's to help her friend, but it seems like she doesn't even think about doing that until she finally sees that old man ghost thing that tells her when people are gonna die in 10 seconds. This girl really needed an apparition to tell her that Quinn was in danger of dying. Like, use your eyes. Get the fucking gun! I can't believe no one on set was like, excuse me, why is she just laying there talking to a ghost when the only threat in her life right now is sitting up there with his back turned and there's a gun right in front of her? When I first watched this movie, I actually said, fucking finally. I mean, this girl finally did something for herself. It took the entire movie, but I mean, at least she did something. Oh my fucking god, this girl cannot do anything for herself. Someone else has always gotten her out of trouble. This is like the weakest character I've ever seen. I love how she looks down at the gun like, Mr. Gun, did you shoot for me? And of course, even in the last action scene of the film, this girl couldn't do something for herself. Of course, the overused stupid cliche of, someone holds a gun, you hear the shot, and someone standing just outside our view actually shot this guy. This scene made me so angry.
I got you. It's okay, sweetie. We're gonna get you home now.
Sorry about your dad, kid.
Said it was a false flag, an inside job. Who knows? He was right about one thing. We had everything we needed. He'd even retrieved my backpack from the stream, got my iPad and phone working again. We took our shifts chopping wood, built up our food supplies, and did what any family would do in our position. We survived.
Where's Quinn?
And while I found my way back to the real world, Quinn was finding his way of escaping it.
The final scene shows Quinn up in the attic and he's on the iPad. It shows that there's a software update. Now, does this mean the world's back to normal and they are just choosing to stay in the woods? Or is Apple working from a bunker somewhere pushing out updates to their iPads as the world has no power? Reese also gets a message on her iPad that says, we're back. So why did they have to chop wood and pull food again? Did this experience make Reese swear off technology or something? I swear, this movie is so boring. Like I said, it felt like 3 different ideas slapped together. The opening scene felt like it was just to grab our attention, and they wanted the backdrop of an apocalyptic event, just so it can be categorized as such, and it would sell better. And then the last part of the movie is like a redneck, kidnap type horror movie wannabe. Well, that was Radio Flash. It was boring, it was lazy, and it really isn't even funny enough that I would recommend anyone go and watch this. I think the movie sucked because it just didn't have a soul. I think it was just thrown together because they thought if you put a popular person in the title, give them an apocalyptic backdrop, it would make YA fans go crazy. So thank you guys for watching, and if there's any other media you would like me to cover, please just leave it down in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.